here is Michael Fannin. Some of you may remember me as Buddy the Elf in January, and some of you may remember me as Matt Gaetz in November. Yes, I look just like Matt Gaetz, which I'm not happy about. I'm sorry, I closed my notes. I know we're not supposed to have notes. The woman here who was speaking of adopting gave me the idea of my opening joke. My brother is adopted. And our favorite story in our family is, I'm Irish, my biological brothers are Irish, my brother who's adopted is Ethiopian. One Christmas, our great-grandmother, who was 95, pointed to me and said, "You look just like TJ. Chris looks just like his grandmother." Points to the brother who's adopted. Now, who does he look like? My grandfather whispers in my ear, "Don't say O.J. Simpson." So I did. Well, that gets me to my line for tonight, which is RFK Jr. has recently shared that 1 in 30 people is on the autistic spectrum, and he's going to get to the bottom of it. Now, I thought I was on the autistic spectrum. I'm learning disabled, I'm ADHD, I got about everything under the book. But I asked the doctor, could I be autistic? And he looked at me and said, "No, you talk too much. You're ADHD, you won't shut up." So, however, I am officially neurodivergent, which means I get to claim autistic status. In fact, my aunt, who's here tonight, can attest, I am so far on the spectrum that they call me visible light. Many top scientists, as you know, are autistic, which means that vaccines were caused by autism. Just the opposite of what they say. I got sick as a newborn baby. Nurse at the hospital had herpes. True story, didn't wash her hands. So I can say that my autism is an STD. Buy that, Robert F. Kennedy. Now, later I was diagnosed ADHD. And what is the antidote they use for an overdose of Ritalin? Ritalin out. Okay, that one fell out. Now, I used to have, there are kids here, so I'll spell SEX daily, and then Reddit taught me that that was just dyslexia. I had read that wrong. So when I was 10, my parents sent me to a camp for kids with ADHD. It was called a concentration camp. Okay, I know it's a low blow, but hey. I had some Catholic jokes I was going to tell, but the Pope died. I'm afraid I might get hit by lightning if I tell any. Now, the fellow who spoke up here tonight and said if people mistake him for a shooter, I've had that happen to me. I was the most popular kid in my high school, in fact, when they found out that I might be climbing the bell tower one day. But because I'm ADHD, I cannot keep my mouth shut about anything. I used to have imaginary friends that I would talk about, and I'd always have them be dying of something, and then coming back, and etc. One day I said, James McMurphy, my imaginary friend, committed suicide. I'm the only person in America to drive his imaginary friend to suicide. True story. Then I met a guy at a funeral. I said his name so many times, my mom and aunt threatened to shoot themselves in their foot. And then they found out he was a real person. I won't name him, my aunt might shoot. Now, later I was diagnosed bipolar. So the doctor's advice for me was to go to a salon and get a manicure. Manicure. It worked. Now I don't, that took a while. I thought people would laugh at that. Later I was diagnosed schizophrenia, and that takes me to why my Easter was so bad. My Easter was so bad that I thought it was Christmas. My girlfriend we were going wild, we were going great, and then they put me on schizophrenia medication last month, and I haven't seen my girlfriend since. So I've covered about all the spectrums I have. The one spectrum I don't have is I forgot, I'm ADHD. And then there's the sexuality spectrums, and I won't get into that tonight because there's minors in the room, but that's as wide as the autistic spectrum. And the new fad, thanks to Mr. Trump, is the narcissistic spectrum. Luckily, I say sorry so many times, I'm not diagnosed narcissist. That's because of my autism, I guess. So I think I covered about all the skits. Don't know how much more time I have. I'll conclude with a joke that about 30 years ago yesterday was the Oklahoma City bombing. I asked my dad, when is Saturday Night Live going to start doing jokes about that? And he said, Mike, it's too soon. Well, I'm glad to say after 30 years, it's no longer too soon. What's the difference in Oklahoma City and 9/11? Well, once again, foreigners proved that they can do a better job. And they can do it a lot faster. So on that note, I'll conclude, and next time I'll try not to look at my notes. The only advice I got last time. Thank you, everyone.
Keep it going for Michael, everybody. Michael Glenn. You wouldn't know the exact date of the Oklahoma City Lions. It was a Tuesday. All right, give it up for your next comic. Give her a hand. Give it up for Miriam Rulo.